got her. Honey.
I fought it for a while. I'm here.
Are you ready for another Bible podcast?
I am as ready as I have ever been.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So today on the Daily Bible, we're kind of moving back to the whole king succession thing. We're just going to kind of cover, it's going to be kind of a boring day. Like, for instance, a bunch of Israelites prostitute themselves, which I'm guessing that means go face down, ass up for other gods. And they get shipped off to Syria because fuck them, right? Syria and Israel joined forces to fuck over Judah for being fence setters because, you know, fuck agnostics. No offense, anybody that's an agnostic in the crowd. Pikachu, if you don't remember, Pikachu was the one that's currently reigning in Israel. It's been a while since we've been to Israel. Pikachu, but he got whacked by Hosea. That's right. Hosea, I guess is why they named him that. I don't know. Anyways, Hosea killed Pikachu. But Hosea fucks up in the eyes of God. And then back over in Judah, Jotham dies and AHasAJob succeeds him as king. But AHasAJob worshipped other gods and even killed his own son as a blood sacrifice. Who the fuck does that? A dick. A dick would sacrifice his own son in a blood ritual in order to please a god.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Only dicks do that. And that's it for today.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah.
This is a short day, huh?
And it kind of is, but, you know, we got blood sacrifices. We got, you know, the Israelites being dipshits and whores. And, yeah.
All right.
What's up, heathens?
How y'all doing?
So, yeah, obviously I got some things wrong, and that's why we have the lovely Casey here. Hi, Casey.
Hi.
I hope I didn't make your brain bleed too much on the Skeptic Mafia podcast.
Oh, that was terrible.
I picked all the right stories to make her ears bleed. So, hopefully I didn't add to that with the Daily Bible podcast.
It was awful. So we are going to talk a little bit about today. We just finished Micah last week, right? And Micah is a prophet who is talking about all the shitty things that are going to happen in Judah, and in Israel too, because of their behavior, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to get back to real quick. We have some king turnover. And so we're going to talk about that before next week when we get into some more prophecies from Isaiah and how he's going to prophesy about the Savior. Okay. Oh. So they've talked, several prophets right now at this point have talked about how Israel, the Israelites, Judah, they'll be taken captive again, right, as punishment for what they've done. And this is actually going to start now, okay? In the time of Pekah, king of Israel, Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, came and took Ijon, Abel-Beth-Maachah, Genoa, Kadesh, and Hazor. He took Gilead and Galilee, including all the land of Naphtali, and deported the people to Assyria.
Hold on. Was one guy in there literally named Ijon?
Ijon. Ijon.
I don't know. I feel like that's just Idjit. It's Hebrew for Idjit.
The people of the half-tribe of Manasseh were numerous, and they settled in the land from Bashan to Baal Hermon, that is, to Sinir, or Mount Hermon. These were the heads of their families: Epher, Ishi, Eliel, Azriel, Jeremiah, Hodaviah, and Jadiel. They were brave warriors, famous men, and heads of their families, but they were unfaithful to the God of their fathers and prostituted themselves to the gods of the peoples of the land, whom God had destroyed before them. So the God of Israel stirred up the spirit of Pul, king of Assyria, that is Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, who took the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh into exile. He took them to Hala, Harbor, Hara, and the river of Gozan, where they are to this day.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Like, all of those names end up confusing me whenever I read the
I know,
Bible. It's really
hard to
hard.
get through all the names.
Yeah, it is. I applaud you, though, for doing as good as you do.
But I mean, I don't even know if I'm saying some of them right, but I try.
Who the fuck cares?
The point of all of this is that this portion right here, which is in 2 Kings 15 and 1 Chronicles 5, what he's saying is that God stirs the spirit of the king of Assyria to go and capture some people, right? So he took, let's see, who did he take? He took the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh captive. Right. And so this is starting the whole idea of them going back into slavery is starting. And so that's it's been prophesied that this is going to happen. And now it's starting to happen. But they're saying that God was the cause because he awoke the spirit of this king in Assyria and convinced him, essentially, stirred his spirit to do this.
Right.
So that's happening right now. We're also going to have some war between Syria, Israel, and Judah. Okay, so in Judah, in those days, the Lord began to send Rezin, king of Aram, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, against Judah. So Syria and Israel joined forces to fight against Assyria. That's what's happening right now. Okay. And it's an unusual alliance between Syria and Israel, but they band together and they tried to pull Judah in with them, right? But Judah didn't want anything to do with it. So now Syria and Israel are kind of fighting against Judah. All right?
All right.
So then Hoshea, son of Elah, conspired against Pekah, son of Remaliah. He attacked and assassinated him, and then succeeded him as king in the 20th year of Jotham, son of Uzziah. As for the other events of Pekah's reign and all he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Israel?
You know, I'd really love to find this fucking book.
Right. So in the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, Hoshea, son of Elah, became king of Israel in Samaria, and he reigned 9 years. Hoshea did evil in the eyes of the Lord, but not like the kings of Israel who preceded him. Meanwhile, in Judah, Jotham rested with his fathers and was buried with them in the city of David, the city of his father. As for the other events of Jotham's reign and what he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Judah?
I mouthed that part while she was saying it.
Yeah. So now we've got a new king in Israel, and we have a dead king in in Judah. So Jotham's son Ahaz succeeded him as king in the 17th year of Pekah, son of Remaliah. Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. Ahaz was 20 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem for 16 years. Unlike David, his father, he did not do what was right in the eyes of the Lord. He walked in the ways of the kings of Israel, and also made cast idols for worshiping the Baals. He burned sacrifices in the valley of Ben Hinnom and sacrificed his sons in the fire, following the detestable ways of the nations the Lord had driven out before the Israelites. He offered sacrifices and burned incense at the high places, on the hilltops and under every spreading tree. So he did bad. He was a bad guy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, anybody that kills their own son in order to please a god, I think, is a pretty shitty person in general.
Well, I think it's interesting because in Judah, you've had kings that do better than the kings in Israel, but they don't like they forbid people to worship other gods, but they don't destroy the high places. Or they themselves don't worship other gods, but they aren't necessarily strict on other people doing so. Or they let people from the other peoples that God had driven out before live amongst them. Or they'll do like minor things, right? Mm-hmm. But this guy is just Ahaz. He's just fucking way out there. Yeah. He does all the shitty things. Even worse, like just as bad, if not worse, than some of the kings of Israel.
Yeah.
So we have a problem, right? We have a problem.
No shit.
So I know that was really short, but that's actually today's lesson.
Yeah, we decided before we started recording that we weren't going to combine 2 days because this is kind of an odd situation. We got this really short day, but then the next day it's enough for a full podcast, but with the extra information that we're going to be injecting into it, it's going to be a little bit longer. So, we wanted to take the full amount of time for next week, and so this week that just means that it's really short. So we're really sorry about that, but that's just how the cookie crumbles.
Well, yeah. So next week we're gonna jump back into Isaiah, but it's going to connect with what's going on in Judah because we have the new king, right? King Ahaz. And God is going to, he wants to defend Judah partially because Judah has always been better, right, than Israel. Also, this is the house of David, right? This is the line of David, and that is extremely important biblically speaking, right? And so Isaiah talks about how Ahaz is going to get a message from God. And that he's going to, God's going to give him a sign and ask Ahab for something, not Ahab, Ahaz, for something. And Ahaz is going to pretty much ignore him, right? He refuses the sign. Okay. So we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to get into in Isaiah chapter 7 next week, where Isaiah prophesies the Savior being from the house of David. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how Assyria, and Syria, and Israel, and who's going to destroy who, and who's going to fall. Who can you trust? Right? We're going to talk about that.
Trust no bitch.
Trust no bitch. We're also going to talk about how the Savior's kingdom is coming and what that's going to be like a little bit. And then we're also going to talk about God's wrath against Israel.
Ooh, so we're talking about Jesus next week.
Yeah. I mean, it's even so, his prophecy is so specific. He talks about the Virgin Mother. He talks about Jesus being called Emmanuel. Which I believe in Hebrew just means God is with us, or God.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
which is really just a description of what the Messiah is.
Yeah.
Really, it was never meant to be like his name.
Yeah.
It was more of a description of what the Messiah was.
Mm-hmm. But the way that it's written, it makes it out like we will call him Emmanuel. So we're going to, I mean, it's pretty interesting.
Well, I mean, and we can get more into this next week, but I mean, that's exactly what the disciples and other people do in the New Testament. They call him God, right? That's one of the main things in like the Pilate trial is like, it is who you say I am. Meaning that he's God or whatnot. So they do call him Emmanuel in a way.
Yeah. And so we're going to get into that, and we're going to talk about the Savior's kingdom and how that's going to shape up and everything. So there's definitely a lot to talk about next week, which is one of the reasons why we didn't combine them. But we're moving right into Isaiah next week with more Jesus stuff.
Next week's podcast is sponsored by Crestus. Download today. No. Anyways, heathens, we really appreciate y'all spending time with us today, even if it was short. We hope that you guys are staying safe, washing your damn hands, and staying home. Most importantly, that's what you got to look out for right now is yourself staying home. Make sure you've got all your groceries stocked up because we probably need to be staying inside for the next couple of weeks.
And if you have to go to the grocery store or wherever, the CDC is now recommending that everyone that goes out wears a mask of some sort, a face covering of some sort. So if you have to go out, please do that and keep yourself safe and keep others safe.
Yeah, and I guess we will see you heathens next week with some Jesus shit.
Don't forget to stand up and use your voice.
Bye, heathens.
Bye, y'all.